On this week's World of Saltwater Fishing, hang on, we're going 65 miles offshore Fort Myers for some night fishing for snappers. Now I got a beauty of a mutton.
Real easy bite tonight for some reason.
Bring that mutton in here.
Nice.
We'll work the net on that.
Yes, sir.
Look at that, you had out to me, didn't you?
Just by a little.
Oh, this is gonna be one incredible episode.
George Poveromo's World of Saltwater Fishing, celebrating 21 years of fishing television excellence. Big fish don't stand a chance.
Fort Myers on Florida's southwest coast. When you think of this area as a fishing person, you automatically gravitate towards snook, tarpon, redfish, and trout. It's an inshore fishing paradise because there's so much shallow water here. That's what most of the anglers do. When you think about offshore fishing out of Fort Myers, it sort of shifts over in terms of bottom fishing for groupers and some of the wreck fishing. To score big here, in terms of bottom fishing, you have to run far and often deep. And that's why I had the Mark 6 here to fish with a veteran of the offshore bottom fishing game, Captain Steve Sewell, who runs out of Fishtail Marina.
Offshore trips, somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 60, 70 miles. It's all according to what trip, If it's a 6-hour trip, we're out about 30 miles. But on a normal offshore trip, an 8 or 10-hour trip, red groupers, gags when they're in season, snapper are pretty much a nocturnal fish. I mean, you catch lots of them in the daytime, but the big ones really get going at night.
So all the rods were loaded up. The Mark 6 was iced down, had plenty of chum, had everything all set to go for a good night of fishing. We left Fishtail Marina around 3 o'clock, cut underneath of the bridge in the pass, ran towards the coordinates to this one wreck that Steve said, without a doubt, should produce, and it was roughly 65 miles offshore. The goal was to get to the wreck with about an hour or so left of daylight. He said it's been holding a lot of fish, and we should have no problem bringing up the mangrove snapper and some of the big yellowtails that this coast is known for. And he says, and it's quite possible that we might get a few mutton snappers.
You always try to get up current from the wreck, and I like to stay. Sometimes you have to keep letting anchor up out and get right on top of it. The current's not good, but 100 feet from the wreck is good. Sometimes the fish won't leave the wreck. They want to sit right on the structure. You have to let a little more anchor rope out and sometimes get right on top of it, but then you take the chance of getting the Goliaths wound up. Not a lot of current, but it's going back.
The current was taking a chum right into the wreck. We were set up good, and we're going to be there for several hours, so there's no doubt about it. We let the chum warm those fish up, and then after we felt they're warmed up, we grab our gear and start free lining back and hopefully start putting fish in the box. And on this trip, we had a special guest, Captain Steve's dog, Tundra, a Jack Russell Terrier. And this was, I don't know if this dog had a couple cups of strong coffee before the trip, but he never slowed down. This thing was every single place on that boat and then some. Our special guest was obviously just as excited about us about going fishing. And as we would later learn, he really got intense in the boat, especially when you brought fish in.
I've been the right one. Got me excited.
I did too.
Hey, bye, Tony.
How are you? You talk about having sea legs offshore. This dog has 4 of them.
Maybe yellowtail.
It's on the jig?
Yeah.
Well, we know
Little
for sure
man.
they're here now.
Little Mangy. Oh, you don't want him, Tony. You don't want him. They'll get wound up here. I start to see him starting to show.
I do.
Now.
I see him moving up as well.
Starting to come up.
It's good.
Let him grow up.
Eh.
Wound up.
Keeper of the fish box.
George Poveromo's World of Saltwater Fishing is proudly being brought to you by Penn, let the battle begin. Mako, you'll find them where the fish are. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, your adventure starts here. Mercury Marine, go boldly. We'll be right back.
We're 65 miles offshore of Fort Myers, Florida, anchored by a wreck and waiting for the night bite to get going. I'm with Steve Sewell and Tundra, his Jack Russell Terrier. As soon as the sun dropped down and nighttime came, here we were. Put some Shadowcaster marine LED underwater lights on, which was the blue, just to help draw up some bait and draw attention to that area.
It's not totally necessary, especially on a full moon, to have the lights on. I mean, it does attract them. It does attract bait, squid, crabs, everything come to the boat. So it does help. It's just all according to condition. If you've got some unwanted species in there, sometimes turn them off, pull the chum bag out for 15, 20 minutes, and they leave, put it back in, turn everything back on, and you're good to go.
Had a beautiful evening. There was hardly a breath of wind. The current really wasn't moving rapidly. We had barely enough to get the job done and carry the chum back there. And it was just a matter of time before hopefully we'd start catching fish. But we did have one boomerang thrown into the operation.
Yeah, most of the time the porpoise is unwanted. When George and I were fishing the other night, just about the time we got anchored and started chumming, they showed up.
Little did we know that we would have schools of porpoise around the boat. Why would fish come off their layers in the bottom, rise into the water column near the surface to feed on the chum when you have dozens of porpoise around that could pick them off? After running that far and getting set up and put all this effort, you know, your heart just sort of started to sink, thinking, come on, porpoise, just please leave us alone, give us a shot at this thing. And they didn't. And the mangrove snapper didn't show up, and the yellowtail didn't come up. So now here we were, hoping against hope to see if we could catch a couple fish. You know, we're going through Almaco jacks, we're going through sharks. We're thinking that this is going to be tough because you know the tails and the mangroves aren't going to show. Steve's rod bends, he's hooked up. I see the drag starting to really come off this reel. The dog is going paranoid. Barking and howling and trying to snap at the reel. And I'm thinking, okay, let's hope it's not a shark. Let's hope it's not an Almaco jack. I'm looking, waiting for the fish to come up. Beautiful. That right flavor there?
There's a mutton, I think. Yeah, nice mutton.
Bring that mutton in here.
Nice.
We'll work the net on that for
Right.
sure. Hi. Oh, you're not going to bite this guy.
Tony, leave him alone. Tundra. Come on, Tony. Leave him alone. Well, in that area, especially on that wreck that we were on, there's a lot of muttons there. But a lot of the times, there's so many yellowtails and mangroves there, the bait that never gets to the bottom. And muttons pretty much are eating it on the bottom or real close to the bottom. So when we got the first mutton, you know, it was a little slow there for a little bit. The mangs and the yellowtails weren't biting. When the first mutton bit, I said, all right, man, if they'll just get wound up, we're good to go. And they did. Oh, baby.
That's amazing. I see something coming up here. Let's see if we got the right flavor with this one here or what. Yes, look at another mutton. This way we got my line.
Last one.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You just go around you here. Get this line under. Man, you got the spot on them now. And pull them out of there. So our concern was, now that we're starting to get a couple muttons, can we get these muttons up without now having to worry about the porpoise trying to come in and take them off our lines? Fortunately, they were keyed in those flying fish, so we might have a shot at having a decent fish night regardless. Caught me sitting there rigging on a new leader. You gonna wager a guess?
I don't know. I want to say it's a snapper, but he's not really fighting like one.
Here comes something up here. What do we got? Got yourself a snapper, nice mutton too. All right, here you go. Kicking it up.
That's better.
Take a look at him, absolutely. Well, you can't do that. You're gonna have to jump for that fish. Good one, Steve.
Thank you, ma'am.
So Steve had the hot hand, and then I realized, you know, I'm using a live pinfish. I got all this confidence in the live bait. It's not doing much anything. So I threw in the towel. I'm switching over. All right, enough with the live bait. I want to catch some fish too. So I had the inline circle yellowtail hook style jig. Took a little piece of the cigar minnow, put it on, dropped it down with the spinner, free line in. Boom, I felt bottom. Suddenly the line races out. I close the bell, wind tight, let the rod bend, circle hook set. I'm on.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Now I got a beauty of a mutton. Is this a mutton? Can't tell. It's a mutton.
There, boy.
I got mine in. What do you got?
We'll bring shrimp, we'll bring cigar minnows, or if we can't get them, Spanish sardines, we'll bring some small live white baits, some small pinfish, and every night it's something different. I mean, sometimes you'll catch a few fish on everything, but most of the time they want one thing, and you don't know what it is. You just never know. You just try different things and see what they want that night and find out and go to town.
Look at that. You had out to me, didn't you?
Just by a little.
Oh, why a little?
That'll work, won't it?
Yes, it will.
Pretty fish.
Oh, it is.
George Poveromo's World of Saltwater Fishing is proudly being brought to you by Simrad, the new Simrad NSS Evo 3S chart plotter. The best just got better. Rapala Coastal, another great day. Suffolk's, always use the best line. Starbright Boat Care Products, blending technology and performance since 1973. We'll be right back.
The night bite is heating up. Steve Sewell, Tundra and I are catching mutton snapper by a wreck 65 miles offshore of Fort Myers, Florida. We were in the midst of a sensational mutton snapper bite, and it's ironic that you relate mutton snapper to Fort Myers. Whatever the case may be, whether these fish were always here and we're just finding out about them, or like Steve said, that these fish are starting to migrate a little bit more north with their habits, and it was really a sensational bite of muttons that would rival that of the Florida Keys and in the Bahamas.
There you go, George. Nice. That even doubled up.
So in the midst of fighting these fish, I think Steve had a shark, cut him off or whatever. He was re-rigging. So I slid down into the cockpit area.
So, you know, I did have the hot hand in the beginning. Why in that corner could have been just I had that little bit of feel the way they were eating, though.
So I hook up, and I've got a hard, powerful fish on there, and I'm doing everything I could just to try to get this fish turned and coming our way. Now Steve hooks up, so we got a double. I said, this is going to be good. Maybe we got a double header of muttons.
Oh, beautiful mutton. All right, we got double. That's who's who here? Which way we at? Who's got who?
George had one hooked, and we had a little silky shark on, and I was trying to get his fish up, trying to get him by the gill at the same time, when the silky took off and
let go of the wrong one.
cut the line.
Steve goes down to try to untangle it or grab the mutton. I don't know what happened. It was dark down there. But the line broke.
Oh, there goes my nice mutton. Goodbye, mutton.
Oh, did that pain me. The dog, well, I thought I saw the dog crying too in this one. There goes the trophy mutton of the night floating down, and here comes this lousy shark. Steve actually catches that one. Something just wasn't right with that one, but it happened.
We just go ahead and cut him right there by the hook.
He's a little big. I don't really want to mess with him. Perfect. Thank you, George. Sorry about that mutton.
Oh, I have to go back and
You'll get another one.
get him
one bigger.
again. My heart's still broken.
Oh, hopefully you'll make it.
We'll get him again. We'll get another one. But you're right, they're way the heck back. And like when you think you free line so much, keep doing it more.
Keep going until he eats it.
But they're hitting so weird.
It's not really a bite. They just kind of eat it and swim off. You have to go through it every time you go night snapper fishing, or daytime fishing too. Sometimes you have to go through the Amico. Sometimes there's lesser AJs in there. You have to get through them, and sometimes the bull sharks get in there. Which me and George had a problem with some bull sharks. He ate a couple snapper and bit a couple in half, and then ate a couple. And I think it was only one shark because he left after that, and we continued to catch some good muttons.
What do you think's gonna come up first, the moon or that fish?
Man, my back feels a moon.
A little different when you take your charters out and have them fish the entire time, huh?
That's as much I've fished in a long time.
Well, when was the last time you actually fished?
I haven't fished in a while. You know, I got a few red snapper on for some customers this year. I only caught 1 or 2 of them, but I ain't fished this much in a while.
You got another mutton? This guy might definitely be the release.
Tundra's my best friend. He's my little Jack Russell Terrier, but he's been fishing since he was probably, I guess I started taking him on the boat at 8 weeks old. He started going and he liked it. He's addicted to fishing. He can walk on the gunnels running the boat 40 miles an hour. I don't let him do it, but he's good enough he can do it. Yeah, well, he knows when you have a good fish on. He does as soon, if you get a little bit of drag or you're on a little bit and the rod's really bent, he gets really excited and starts chirping. And you can always tell, the more he gets excited, you know you got a pretty good fish on, so then, you know, the customers get excited, Tundra gets all wound up, then the customers get all wound up. Kiss goodbye.
George's Tackle Locker. Brought to you by King Sailfish, the pioneer of catch and release mounts. Visit kingsailfish.com.
ACR is known worldwide for their emergency position indicating radio beacons, commonly known as EPIRBs. Their latest boater safety device is the Rescue Flare, a high-intensity LED electronic distress flare which emits the International Morse code for SOS while providing 360-degree visibility for up to 6 miles. Operating on 2 replaceable C-cell batteries, it has a broadcasting life of around 20 hours. With a daytime distress flag that comes with the unit, it's also a certified day visual distress signal per U.S. Coast Guard requirements. This allows it to be carried in lieu of traditional pyrotechnic boat signal flares in the U.S. only. The ACR Rescue Flare is buoyant and waterproof. It can be handheld, tethered to a boat, life jacket or raft, and even displayed high up on an outrigger or tower top. Suggested retail price is $79.95. Order direct through acrrtech.com. It's an invaluable modern era safety item, one you hope you never ever have to activate.
Mercury Performance Stats, Fort Myers, power, triple 400 horsepower Mercury Verado outboards. Total miles traveled, 163. Speed, 37 miles per hour. Total fuel burned, 154 gallons. George Poveromo's World of Saltwater Fishing is proudly being brought to you by the Florida Keys and Key West. Visit flakeys.com. ACR, the leader in marine safety electronics. Papa's Pilar Artesian Crafted Rum. Order yours today at papaspilar.com. Float On, the original aluminum immersible boat trailer. King Sailfish, the pioneer of catch and release mounts. Visit kingsailfish.com.
Our base of operation for myself and the production team was the Gullwing Beach Resort on Fort Myers Beach, roughly no more than about a mile, if that, mile and a half from the Fishtail Marina. It's a condo complex with rooms for doubles, triple bedrooms, has all the amenities that you would expect from a quality condominium. You walk downstairs, out back, your choice between a freshwater swimming pool. A few steps beyond that, and here you are right on the beach of Fort Myers with a stretch of beach that is arguably probably the most picturesque in all of South Florida. Very convenient place to base out of, full amenities here too. So if you don't feel like going out one night and you have some fresh fish you want to cook up here, by all means have at it. The Gullwing Beach Resort. If you're coming to Fort Myers, check into it.
It was an awesome experience fishing with George. One of the most professional guys I've ever fished with. I fished with a few other TV hosts, you know, and met him and stuff. This guy was awesome, a dedicated fisherman, had the patience that, just like me, I said, we gotta wait for this bite, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. No problems at all, patient, we did it, it was great. I can't wait to fish with him again.
I've wrecked and bottom fished most of my entire life off of South Florida, the Florida Keys and the Bahamas, and have done just a fair share of it on Florida's southwest coast. To come out here with a veteran who grew up doing this stuff was really amazing to experience the variety of fishing they have on the wrecks and how it sort of equates to the wreck fishing we have on our side. Steve's an amazing person, great angler, a fun guy to share the cockpit with, and high-strung dog, Tundra, no doubt about it too. It certainly made the night interesting. Again, an A+ trip out of Fort Myers. excellent bottom fishing here, and again, the surprise being mutton snappers. If you'd like to keep up with our fishing adventures, please follow me on Instagram. I'm at George Poveromo. On Facebook, I'm at facebook.com/George.Poveromo. And you can view our episodes at any time on our YouTube channel, George Poveromo TV. We'll see you out on the water.